Hey, thank you for watching this week. You know, this whole month I'm talking about different ways that you can attract more success in your life. This week in particular, I want to ask you the question, do you have the body language of success? Do you know that your body language reveals more about you than you even realize? You know, I graduated from Texas Tech with a minor in communication studies. That's the study of communication. And we learned that 93% of the way we communicate is non-verbally, through body language. So without ever opening your mouth, you are communicating a message. And you're communicating even more by not opening your mouth, just through all of your gestures, your posture, your eyes, your hands. I mean, just your eyes alone. They say that your eyes communicate more than any other part of the human anatomy. You think about it, you've heard phrases like, if looks could kill, or, you know, you could just size somebody up and down, and that says a lot, doesn't it? Or just rolling your eyes, or even just the raised eyebrows can be like excitement, or it could be disgust. Eyebrows even communicate a message. You know, you can just not only staring at somebody, you know, just crazily, that can freak somebody out. Or, you know, there's a difference in a slow wink and a fast wink. The fast wink just says, hey, how you doing? The slow wink says something totally different. You know what I mean. You're communicating with your hands. You know, you can wave real big at people. You can point at somebody. You can point in a non-threatening way, or you can be like, you can, you know, you communicate so much just with the hands. The okay, thumbs up. You know, there's so many ways I can't even demonstrate some of them. You communicate with your head even. You know, they say that the tilted head is a sign of interest. So if you see someone that, you know, looks like Channing Tatum or Matthew McConaughey and your head just starts to kind of tilt while you're talking, it's just a clear sign of, I'm really interested. Now, I heard not too long ago, if you tilt your head to the right, that's a sign of interest and kind of feeling attractive. If you tilt your head to the left, it's a sign of intelligence. So, do you want to be attractive or intelligent? Attractive or intelligent? I say just keep your head straight. But there's all these things you can do with, you know, the body parts that communicate a message. Signs of insecurity speak volumes. You know, one of the clear signs of an insecure person is poor posture. The slumped shoulders, you know, arms folded. The number one sign of an insecure person is the lowered head. And, you know, you may have heard me say before, I think it's so cool how God even covered body language in the Bible. Psalm 3:3 says, Thou, O Lord, are a shield for me. You're the glory and the lifter of my head. God wants you to lift your head. I always say that, you know, I just picture Jesus hanging on the cross. And you should never go a day of your life with your head held down when Jesus hung on that cross with his head down so yours could be lifted up. That's a sign of confidence, a lifted head. You know, some people do not even realize just how important body language is. In fact, I read a very famous study about Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy. Now, this is back when they were debating against each other for the presidency back in 1960. This was the first presidential debate ever to be televised. So on the way to the debate, Richard Nixon was getting out of the car and he injured his knee. Well, apparently he injured it pretty bad. He was in so much pain. He was sweating profusely, but they said that he refused to put stage makeup on to hide the sweat and hide the discomfort. So he went out there to debate against John F. Kennedy, and they said he was leaning awkwardly to one side with his hands behind his back. Well, to the people looking, he clearly looked uncomfortable. They said he looked crooked, off balance, and nervous. Now, he squared off with a very confident John F. Kennedy. Now, listen to what they said. According to the polls, the radio listeners who could only hear the debate said that Nixon won by a landslide. The TV viewers who could see the debate said Nixon lost by a landslide. Well, he did lose that race. This is what the experts said. If Nixon understood the importance of body language, he would have paid closer attention to the image he was projecting. So just his image alone could have cost him the presidency because he appeared crooked, off balance, and nervous. So body language is important. In fact, I was reading something recently, and these were just signs to avoid or to add to demonstrate the body language of success. One of them, this was on Ask Men, and it said, avoid your pockets. Always putting your hands in your pockets. It said that this demonstrates that you're uncomfortable, unsure of yourself. Just don't always walk around with your hands in your pockets. The other one was don't fidget. This is a sign of insecurity. It makes you look worried or tense or always going like this or, playing with the hair. Another one was keep your eyes forward. A lot of times insecurity is demonstrated by constantly looking down. Even when you're walking, there could be a tendency to look down all the time or look away. But it says keep your eyes forward. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. People immediately connect good posture with confidence. I heard one article, it said, if you think highly of yourself, you hold yourself high. Another one was take wide steps. Do you know that just the way you walk can demonstrate success or insecurity? People who walk at a faster pace, it demonstrates that I've got a purpose, I've got things to do. People who drag their feet and kind of shuffle along, it appears that I don't have much going on. I'm just kind of wasting time, letting the day go by. So just a brisk walk helps you appear more confident. Firm handshakes. There's nothing my husband hates worse than to shake hands with a man and it feels like a dead fish. So a firm handshake. And then another one was not to cross your arms when socializing. That just this body language right here, it causes you, we do it when we're cold, a lot of times we'll be like this, but it also demonstrates nervousness and being on guard. Because, you can be like nervous like this, or it can be a sign of on guard. I just dare you to say something. So that's another sign of an insecure, doesn't demonstrate confidence. And then the last one, to demonstrate your confidence, is smile. That's one of the marks of a confident person, a successful person, is just smile. Successful people smile. They're not afraid to show that I'm happy, I'm confident in who I am, so I can smile about it. I was talking earlier about your posture. One of the ways that a lady taught me to practice good posture is she said, sit in your car with perfect posture and adjust your rearview mirror to that perfect posture. She said, as you're driving along, if all of a sudden you can't see out the mirror anymore, she said, don't adjust the mirror, adjust you. Go back to your perfect posture until it just becomes a part of who you are. Every time you just practice good posture. So I want to challenge you to get this entire message on the ABCs of attracting success. I go A through G with things that I've applied in my life to help me demonstrate more confidence and to attract greater opportunities in my life by demonstrating confidence. And I believe you too will attract more success. If you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe to this channel. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I want to keep you motivated to go after your dreams. Thanks for watching.